Morning, y'all. North Carolina, it's October 3rd. Pretty hot, really, for October. Kind of sucks. It's supposed to be in the low 80s today, but what do you do? Got the E12 bush hog on it. I'm going out here to cut what is hopefully the final cut on the pasture of the year. I've got some seed and fertilizer I'm gonna get out real soon. There's some rain coming, like, you know, trying to get all that timed out, which is a challenge. Get it out there before a light rain. And I have to be careful, my pasture will wash really hard if it's a strong rain, wash all the inputs out. So it looks like it's gonna line up pretty nice for that to start early in the morning tonight. So anyway, again, I'm gonna clip the pasture. I also want to talk a little bit about the declutcher today. So when I get in the cab and start running a little bit, we'll talk about that. I have a hard time finding videos where anybody really addresses the declutcher on these tractors. And so not a big deal, but just something to think about. Anyway, we'll talk more about it as we go along. All right, back in the tractor. Let me turn the air down. It's hot today in October. So again, a lot of stuff going on today. Want to get this pasture conditioned and ready. I'm gonna put some rye out this year. I know some of you will shake your head and all that, whatever. I'm gonna do it. I've had the best pasture this year that I've ever had in terms of fescue and maybe a little dab of orchard in that. But I want to give this rye a try this fall. I mean, I put rye out in the yard before and not even paid any attention to it, and it comes up gangbusters. So we'll see how it goes. And you know, rye's pretty cheap, relatively speaking. But so I'm gonna give it a shot. But I am gonna clip the pasture. I'm gonna come out here with my chain harrow or my drag harrow, whatever you want to call it, chain drag, and that's real heavy. And I'm gonna scratch this pasture up a little bit, break up some of the manure, and just try to get a little bit better seed bed so that the seed can make contact with the soil, loose soil, right before this rain. So enough on that. But anyway, gonna get started. So again, here's the E12 just through the gate. So let's get the wings down. I don't know why, but this is cool. Oh no. Well, it's my only foldable piece of equipment, so maybe I'm just biased. But I'm gonna run it pretty low today. I'm gonna put it right on the deck, about 6 inches off the deck. Cut out a lot of this dead kind of stubble that's out here in the pasture a little bit. You can see. Again, get ready for the fall stuff. So anyway, so let's talk about this declutcher. When I ordered this tractor, I didn't even know it was coming with it. Well, actually, when I bought the tractor, I didn't order this one. This one was on the lot, but I did. Y'all have heard that story. So this, again, has a 16/16 transmission. You've got 4 ranges, 4 gears. And this is your declutcher button, which essentially just declutches the transmission. When you push that button in, it's about the same thing as pushing. It is the same thing as pushing your clutch in, which is pretty handy if you're doing a lot of shifting. I mean, I do some, I guess, relative to other people, but it's not heavy duty. Really not a lot to say about this option. It's nice. I like it. I do use it some. I'll use it today, shifting out here with the bush hog a little bit. But if I didn't have it on the tractor, I don't think I'd miss it. So it's, you know, it's kind of one of those take it or leave it kind of things. It's not something that I would have paid $1,000 for. If that's what it would have cost, just hypothetically. Don't know what it costs as an option, because again, it was on this one. But if you shift a lot, maybe, you know, maybe I'd do it. If I had that $1,000 to put in an air seat or a declutcher, it's going in the air seat. Those of you who spend time in tractor can appreciate that. But the one thing I will say about the declutcher, again, is that most of the time it does good. In most situations, if you have a load, if you're up or down a hill, it'll shift almost as smooth as me with the clutch. Other times it slams, and it seems to do it randomly. I have noticed that sometimes it doesn't handle a situation that you might have to kind of massage the clutch a little bit. You know, if I mean, y'all can imagine there's 100 scenarios for that where you're letting off the clutch a little slower than you normally would. The declutcher doesn't handle that situation quite as good, but sometimes it does. That's what's weird about it. So again, it's fine. That's my overall evaluation of it. Is declutcher's good. I like it. It's fine, but I'm not crazy about it, and it's nothing I would spend the big dollars to go get. So if you have any other questions about the declutcher, this probably hadn't helped you a bit, but I'm happy to answer them. Hit me up in the comment section or email me directly. You can find my email address there, firstgenfarmernc@gmail.com. It's right there in my description on the page. So I'm gonna run along a bit with this and And if something happens weird with the declutcher, I'll be sure to include it. All right, got the bush hog engaged. I'm gonna run along here, just let the clutch out normally, like I would do. And I'm gonna shift into second gear, and maybe y'all can, I don't know, push the button, release it. So maybe you heard that a little bit, maybe you could tell, I don't know, probably not at all on this thing, but and shifting up and shifting down seems to behave about the same with the declutcher. Again, it most of the time it's the same as pushing the clutch with your foot in terms of smoothness and speed at which the clutch is re-engaged. But sometimes it's not, and it'll snatch you and slam, and I don't like that, but it does do it every now and then. So here, one more time. You can see, maybe you can get a little sense of, it's kind of like butter. So, you know, probably shouldn't even say anything negative about it. But, and then I'll shift. Yeah, about to drop the camera. Hey, I don't believe I've ever, let me get away from the tractor. I don't think I've ever showed y'all my kind of what I call like a poor man's fuel setup. So, I've got a 350 gallon tank that I bought secondhand. I painted it, of course. I've got a Feel Right pump. 15 gallon per minute, runs off battery power, not it's DC, not AC. I've had that pump for like 15 years. I've used it in other places. Actually had it in a barrel, pumping fuel out. Who cares? But anyway, I've had it for a long time. It's been rock solid. So I just have a deep cycle batteries on. I think this is a 1.5 amp solar panel, and that's it. I mean, all this is cheap. And it works good. I don't pump that much fuel, so it's fantastic. I come out here, it works every time. I don't have any problem. Well, every now and then these connectors, you can tell they're corroded, and you know, and that battery's 4 or 5 years old, still kicking. So you can do it on the cheap. You don't have to spend big money. Big money comes in finding a tank, getting one second hand, like from a smaller, like fuel delivery company, which is what I did. Worked out really good because it was ugly when it got here, but you know, I painted it, so it made it look nice. And that's about it. Works good.